But yeah, looks like we are off, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like we have people all checking the sanctuary first, and we're going to get 20
Four.
rupees from the start.
4 sync starts. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, usually you see one person go to Link's house. We get an early map check. I saw crystals at Hera and Eastern and a green pendant at Desert Palace. Looks like we've got Cassidy is going for an early lumberjack check. He's just a boy following suit. Looks like our tier 1 tree pull is just green rupees.
Yeah, not very helpful to start.
Meanwhile, the bush crab giving us 4 bomb drops. Now that's a useful bush crab. We've got Illis and Ravis going into the Lost Woods, getting a fire rod early. Meanwhile, a big 20 on lumberjack ledge.
Hopefully they'll both opt to go up the log here and check the bush crab. And neither of them do, never mind.
Just 10 sticks in the thieves' hideout. But yeah, early fire rod, that opens up a few. It doesn't really open anything in progression, but as an offensive weapon, it's a little magic hungry, but it works.
Early fire rod typically also means a late lamp, though.
That is true. It does open up escape. It's a fire source, so eventually when we do get access to Tower of Hera, we can do the basement if we need to. It's one of the more useful items to pick up. Just a hard piece in Link's house.
Never mind about that late lamp. There it is in the Kakariko well, along with some bombs for our bush crab skippers and gloves.
Yeah, so we got early gloves, early lamp. Death Mountain, anybody?
Ravis, unfortunately, using up one of his bombs erroneously. He'll be short a bomb for clearing out Kakariko. Hopefully he'll find another one, though, here in the blind side out.
Yeah, we got 5 checks here. First one being, well, there's the extra pack of bombs, followed by a big 20, another big 20, and a heart piece.
Never punish.
I missed what was in the dam chest, unfortunately. But outside the dam, we get magic powder.
I believe it was just rupees.
I think it was too, but yeah, early powder, so early safeties are never anything to complain about.
Okay, I have literally no idea what Cassidy's doing.
Yeah, went to the ferry there
That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen anybody do 3 minutes into a seed, is to heal 1.5 hearts in a fairy cave on their way to Agina.
Well, I guess in fairness, you don't want to get blindsided by the crow or the sand diggers, or creatures.
Geldman, their
Geldman?
official name.
Ah, thank you.
Sometimes people call them jazz hands.
Should be noted we got a heart container on the bottle vendor, big 20 in the chicken hut. So, decent Kakariko well, but that's about it so far. As far as our Kakariko village spoils. And just a triplet of bombs in Agina's cave. So, no issues with skipping that early today.
Looks like Cassidy's going to head back south, though, and do Mini Moldorm Cave with 10 bombs. Passing a fairy cave on the way, though. I'm not sure if that's intended.
Indeed. I missed what was on the library, but he's just about to give us another look. The race game looks to have a rupee hoard. It might be... I don't know if that was 100 or 300.
It's enough for Ravis to go back for it, though, so I'm thinking it's probably 3.
Yeah, and I just looked back. We have a heart piece at the library. It is a 300, it looks like. Unless my eyes are just playing tricks on me.
I don't think he'd go back for just 100.
I did see we got blue mail in Mini Moldorm Cave and our first sword.
Yeah, both nice items, but not really justification for doing Mini Moldorm first. But no real time loss or anything.
Indeed. Now, one thing that would justify going there early is if you could find the flute and bottle, both finishing up the rest of the Kakariko checks.
Rivas headed back of escape. This is pretty standard. First time he's even quit after finding the gloves.
Yeah, we have not found the key, but the Dark Cross is in logic either way. Courtesy of that lamp and a weapon.
Hi, Mirror.
Ooh.
Rivas not doing Dark Cross, though. Really? Okay.
Now that's interesting, and with the mirror, we actually already have full clearability of Tower of Hera. We have the glove and the lamp to get up to Death Mountain. We got a sword to damage Moldorm. We got a fire source.
I mean, I suppose like his only weapon to kill the Kirat was with a bomb, but like he had plenty of hearts to do it. And skipping Dark Cross isn't as good as getting to skip Zelda's Cell.
Yeah, Zelda's Cell definitely the longer walk. He's just a boy, on the other hand, will give us our Dark Cross look. Cassidy is taking a field trip over to Eastern and checks Hospital's closet.
Yeah, Cassidy really hates Kakariko, it seems.
Yeah, I understand why. They're banking on getting the flute. Unfortunately, they found somebody else's cane.
He's gonna go into Eastern.
Dark Cross, in the meanwhile, just having 10 sticks, and Ravis is now doing a Houlihan via the back of escape entrance.
Yeah, that's will give him enough rupees to check Zora if the situation arises.
And Zora is in logic, courtesy of that glove. Meanwhile, Ice Rod Cave just gives us 5 rupees, appropriately colored for the cave. And yeah, Cassidy gonna go into Eastern. Pretty much everything except Armos Knights is in logic right now, so it makes sense. There's 3 items in here. Just a boy giving us our first look at the uncle. Only had 20 rupees on the uncle himself, so we're robbing our uncle of his cash. That's lovely.
And our Titan's Mitts are going to be in Eastern Palace, although they're only gloves for Cassidy at the moment.
Yes, indeed, although you have to figure Cassidy's going to go to Kakariko before doing anything else.
Yeah, eventually he'll go to Kak, so that's why it seems weird to me that he'd go to Eastern first like this, because the punish for the bow being in Kakariko is just so huge. He will not be punished today, the bow is not there, but he doesn't know that.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Ravis getting their blue mail and sword from the Mini Moldorm Cave. Just a boy doing the front of escape, with Illis going to check the uncle. So we have Titan's Mitts, and we're just a Moon Pearl away from Dark World access. Dark Death Mountain access, too, for that matter. We get our second item in Eastern Palace, and it is a bottle with a B.
Cassidy may very well end up being rewarded for coming here first, then.
Oh, the Ice Rod is in Mimic Cave. We just got that hint in Eastern Palace. Oh boy, if TR is a crystal, that is going to be a huge hint.
With Dark World access being locked behind Eastern Palace here, it's pretty likely everyone's going to make that dive and find that hint.
Now the next $1 million question is there going to be any major progression on Trinex? Just a boy doing some nice bombing strats there, getting a heart piece out of the second chest, in the front of escape. So we found 2 items in Eastern so far. I believe this has to be the big key. So if the last item is not in the big chest, it will be on Armos Knights. Now Eastern is a crystal, so we're going to be getting that item regardless.
Ravis going up to Tower of Hera, it looks like. We'll check Lumberjack on the way.
And our last item in Eastern is a big 20, so no reason to go back to Eastern after picking up the mitts, except for that crystal, once they get the bow. Just the bloomerang in Zelda's Cell, so we now have both boomerangs.
Well, this almost completely confirms that Ravis has the right idea. There will probably be something up here. Moon Pearl, most likely.
Yeah, we still don't have, we are only a Cape or Northern Sword away from having Aggle 1 access as well, so it could go either way from this point onward. Hopefully when Ravis goes into the Dark World to go to Tower of Hera, we will get a map check for the Dark World. And we will see if that ice rod that is in Mimic Cave is required. Meanwhile, the old man is going to give us just some extra pocket change.
Yeah, you can see everybody else trying their best to avoid going over to Eastern, just because the double dip into Eastern it's pretty bad. Like, you don't want to do it if it's not required.
Given the circumstances, unless we find the bow relatively soon, it looks like that might end up being the case. I think it was just, I don't remember seeing anything important on Spectacle Rock, and it's just $50 inside. And we just get a joke hint there. Cassidy also does not have the lamp yet, still putting off that Kakariko Village check.
Okay, it looks like he's finally given up, and we'll be headed to Kakariko.
Indeed.
He is the only runner to have found the bottle, though, and he's going to have that bottle on his first trip to Kakariko. So if Sick Kid has something good, it could be a very long time before anybody else gets it.
It could. We did get a Dark World map check. Our other pendants are at Skull Woods and Misery Mire. I did see... I don't remember where the red crystals wound up. The 5-6 crystals were Ice Palace and Thieves Town. Major thanks to my apologies for butchering this. Bal-SCN in the chat. I'm so sorry. So that means the ice rod is required. Illis, meanwhile, is going up Death Mountain without going to Eastern Palace, so is gonna miss out on those Titans mitts, at least for now.
Yeah, I mean, from like Illis's and Ravis's point of view, Eastern is a crystal dungeon I can't full clear, but Hera is a full crystal dungeon that I can full clear, you know? So
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense for them to do this.
It does. And also, another pretty useful hint, some arrows are above the pose, so no need to stop at Graveyard Ledge. And there's our second Hera item being a big 20, so that is all the items in Tower of Hera, so it's only a map or compass down in the basement. And Sick Kid only giving us $50 today.
I mean, boots are fantastic. Very happy to find those early, but that's not what we were looking for.
At least not yet. We're still waiting on, and I'm being enlightened in chat, we're still missing a hammer or a hook shot for Dark Death Mountain, and the boots were in Tower of Hera, right in front of the big chest, in front of the hint tile.
Ravis unfortunately taking a fall to everybody's favorite Caterpie.
And the other hint in Tower of Hera at the foyer entrance was the same hint we heard in the same hint we got in Spectacle Rock. So nothing of value was given there. We have actually 3 runners in Tower of Hera right now, while Cassidy is just going ahead and taking out the Kakariko Village checks.
I assume he already did Sick Kid and got nothing.
Yeah, we have, that was 50 rupees. The only checks in Logic we can still make at this point are Zora and the Boots checks. Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb. We can check King's Tomb with Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ravis and Illis will both have to make their way to Eastern to get those meds. Ravis will check Bonk Rocks first, though.
Yeah, we're actually running out of potential ways to skip Aga 1. The real thing we need is that Moon Pearl at this point, but Hammer would be nice, although not exactly what we're looking for just yet.
Aga 1 is pretty unlikely at this point. Like, it would have to be Moon Pearl on the pyramid.
Indeed. And Aga 1 is actually still out of logic since we're still missing a second sword or a magic cape, which it could be in, both of which could be in King's Tomb. Cassidy, meanwhile, is still going to check out the front of Escape. And yeah, until Cassidy goes up to Hera to get the boots, there's not going to be much else they can do there for now. Just a Boy finishing off Troll Dorm and getting their first crystal. Illis will be following suit shortly. But yeah, we're down to Zora and King's Tomb right now as our only potential locations for progression, so it's gonna really come down to who decides to check that first.
King's Tomb is far more likely to have the Moon Pearl at this point, and I think Cassidy should be the first one to get to it, because he'll have the mitts on his first check to the boots checks.
He has the mitts, but he still's got to go get the boots out of Hera.
Yeah, but everybody else has to go to Eastern.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know. I guess it's possible, like, maybe Ravis or Illis will get the mitts and then just immediately nope out of Eastern and go check King's Tomb. Like, King's Tomb Moon Pearl is actually relatively common.
Trolldorm, by the way, living up to its name. Illis took, I think, a double floor fall to Trolldorm. I mean, this is not an easy fight with only Fighter Sword, since you are likely to induce, or you will induce, his Rage mode.
I mean, it's the NMG fight.
Pretty much. But down he goes for Illis, so we have 3 runners with their first crystals. It may be vanilla, but it's still not an easy fight. Meanwhile, Cassidy gonna be our last runner up the mountain, so Cassidy's gonna grab those boots in Hera, and we'll see where everybody goes from here. Ravis is wasting no time putting that half magic from Bonk Rocks to work right away and clearing out the front of Escape. We have found a lot of convenience and safety items so far. Everybody's on blue mail. Everybody has, almost everybody has powder. Almost everybody, everybody will get half magic when they check Bonk Rocks.
Did He's Just a Boy skip out on an area?
Doesn't look like it. He's got, they've got their mitts.
I was just thinking he has such a significant lead on Ravis and Illis, even though they've all pretty much done the same things.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
Maybe just the Moldorm Falls made the difference?
It might have, yeah. I think, I'm trying to see if He's Just a Boy did the front of Escape. I think he did, because there was a boomerang in Zelda Cell, if memory serves me correctly.
He was the first one there, if I remember.
Yeah. So yeah, Just a Boy's gonna get that Mimic Cave hint, and has the mitts now. And
It looks like Ravis is going to continue through Eastern Palace.
Yeah, Ravis and Illis are gonna get their mitts, but He's Just a Boy's gonna be the first one out. So we're gonna see where they go next.
Illis also remaining in the dungeon. I thought maybe somebody might dip out after getting the mitts just because of a King's Tomb Moonpearl likelihood.
It's possible. At the same time, there are still a couple items, potential items left, and they're not too crazy to get to, with the exception of, obviously, if you have to do Armos, which we can't do yet. But if they're both ahead of time, you might as... the thought might be just get it out of everybody's hair now. Just so that way we don't have to go trek through the whole dungeon to check the vanilla big key chests later.
Alright, He's Just a Boy finishes his Eastern dive. Does he go immediately to King's Tomb? He does.
Apparently, Ravis skipped the hint that indicated where the ice rod was.
He'll check it on the way back.
Most likely. And if he forgot it for whatever reason, once he gets the bow and checks, comes back later, he'll get the hint. But what is our King's Tomb item? It is...
Wow!
Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have a scam on Zora today for a change.
That's incredible. So Ravis skips that hint tile on purpose because it's faster to check it on the way back when you have the boots. Because then you get that full horizontal dash through the room.
That's true, and then you can just vertical dash straight up to the hint tile. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to walk up to Zora. We might see a fake flipper. No runner can check the waterfall fairy items in since they don't have the moon pearl to set the water walk off if they were to fake flipper. Words, I promise.
One thing they can do though is to set up a boots water walk in like Ice Rod or Mini Moldorm Cave, and then fake flipper instead to check Hobo. And then from there they can activate their water walk and water walk to the Zora area, and it'll stay with them as they check Waterfall Fairy.
I'm not as familiar with the Waterfall Fairy walk as I am with the Moon Pearl water walk, so thank you for that.
Well, lately I see a lot of people just skipping out on Hobo in this situation and just doing only the water walk.
Yeah, to answer a question in chat, logically the only thing that is required to get to King Zora is a glove. Because you can just walk, lift a couple of rocks and walk up to the Zora area, go around everything, basically. The other three items in the Zora area, though, the Waterfall Fairy and the Zora Ledge, those items require the flippers. in
So
logic.
He's Just a Boy is going to check the island here and not put a hobo, I'd imagine. Nope. Going to hobo. Gotta disagree with that. Oh, yep, there he goes. He changed his mind.
Yeah,
If he went to hobo, he wouldn't be able to get or to check Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, might have just realized that at the last second. An answer question, chat. All runners have the... Oh my. So the hammer is in Waterfall Ferry, but we're still missing the flippers.
This is going to be vanilla flippers, I bet. No, it couldn't be, right?
Well, if we get vanilla flippers, still Aga 1 seed, no sign of the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, but the hammer gives access to East of Mountain.
True. Oh, this is going to be interesting. What does the king of all not scams today have for us this time? The flute!
Okay. So apparently the Moon Pearl's over in the desert area. Or the flippers. Or something else entirely. Who knows?
Wow, so yeah, flute gives us, the Meyer area. Kind of.
Yeah, checkerboard and desert palace, which is full clearable and a green pendant.
Yeah, my goodness. Talk about a logic chain.
That Waterfall Ferry check is going to be huge, though, if it's not the flippers over here.
Indeed. And getting red mail, considering we're still only on 7 hearts, that's still a huge help. Meanwhile, get your 07s in chat as we release the swag duck.
Illis is a little short on rupees, grabbing some rupees here in the 50 rupee cave. Probably gonna do a Houlihan after. Nope, going back in, okay.
Yeah, Ellis is a lot of rupees short. 200. Just a Boy gonna give us our magic bat check as well. It's out of logic until we get the flippers, but still interesting to see what the magic bat has for us this time. How dare you wake me from my slumber? I curse you, and I curse you with... some bombs.
Ravis also opting not to go over to Hobo, but does get his hammer out of Waterfall Ferry. Cassidy's gonna get Hobo, though. Maybe he'll check the Zor ledge, but usually you do Hobo with this. Yeah, he's going Hobo.
Yeah, the Zora ledge only had the butterfly net. The bug net, excuse me. But yeah,
This is an interesting use of tech here. Like, he has the water walk stored currently, but chooses not to use it and will fake flipper his way to Hobo. And then from the Hobo location, he can activate his water walk and get to Waterfall Ferry like everybody else.
Ah. It was Bamos to get into Misery Mire, of which we have no idea where that is right now. Just a Boy picking up that bottle on the desert ledge, and next stop, Desert Palace. And we're gonna get to see what's on the torch. Whether or not the dungeon is boots locked really doesn't matter since everybody got the boots out of Hera.
So Ill's going to Zora the long way. Means he's going to miss out on that hammer.
And we learned that it's just some cash in a chest requiring the specialist to unlock, so nothing in the purple chest today.
Oh, Cassidy lost his water walk. He's going to have to go to Zora the long way.
Indeed, although Lanmolas was not boots locked, but the right side of Desert was. We have not yet seen Checkerboard Cave or the Mire Shed.
Lammo will still be logically boots locked, though.
Because, yeah, you're expected to full clear everything in the dungeon before you can get the boss, right?
Yeah, well, the small key and the big key are required logically for Lammo, because you would be able to steal the small key in the back.
That makes sense.
Ravis being assaulted by this murder dactyl. Let me go!
Yeah, trying to get to Checkerboard Cave to see if there might be something in there. Meanwhile, our first Desert Palace item is a heart piece. And Checkerboard Cave has the hook shot. That is our East Death Mountain access. And the Moon Pearl is in Desert Palace.
Oh, that's disappointing. I was hoping the hook shot with the moon pearl would lead. The hook shot would lead to the moon pearl over on Dark Death Mountain.
And
Or
I
on
think
East Death
he's
Mountain.
just a boy is about to go and grab that after. First, he's going to check Meyer Shed with the easy Moon Pearl. That is Revenge of the Convenience right there. Inside Meyer Shed, we get a shield and shrooms.
Oh, Ravis having the same thought I had. Not even gonna bother going into Desert Palace.
That's an interesting check. I mean, we know he's got to go there because that's where the Moon Pearl is, but at the same time, East Death Mountain has a huge number of checks, and so does Dark Death Mountain for that matter.
Well, he'll only be able to do Super Bunny Cave if he wanted to sequence break it.
Right, no Moon Pearl. Just a boy picking up their hook shot.
So Just a Boy does nope out of Desert after getting that second item, the Moon Pearl. But Green Pendant is still a possibility for having progression. But I think this is a smart play here. It does take a long time to kill Namo, especially when... no, I guess he has Fire. It wouldn't be that long of a kill, but it's still a long walk to him for a question mark item.
Indeed, and yeah, he has Fire Rod plus half magic, so it's not the worst case scenario.
I do find it a little surprising that Ravis didn't walk into the front of Desert. Especially when you have those boots and they didn't lead to progression.
Indeed. I'm getting a quick look back at Mini Moldorm's cave because I looked away for a split second, but it looks like it was all junk. Not Mini Moldorm, excuse me, Paradox Cave. Yeah, Paradox Cave was a complete bust, just cashing some heart pieces. Oh, I saw a medallion on the floating island, but I did not see which one it was. It is Quake. Now, here's the next $1 million question. What is the medallion for Turtle Rock? And that medallion is going to also be Bamos. So, luckily, that does remove Bamos as an option for the pedestal, since it is required for a pendant and a crystal dungeon. So now the next $1 million question, I've been asking a lot of those today, is where's the Bamos medallion? Although we're really on the lookout for the flippers because that's one of the major things that puts the hammer back into logic.
Ravis does not find anything there in Spiral Cave, and he knows now that he made a mistake and will have to go back to Desert Palace. It's not a huge time loss or anything for this, though. It's pretty quick to get back over to East Death Mountain with the hook shot.
Indeed, and now we wonder, what can we start doing in the Dark World? We can full clear Pendant Skull Woods. We can illogically full clear Thieves Town. Ooh, chess game, having our Master Sword as Cassidy's doing our Village of Outcast checks.
Did Cassidy not go to the mountain?
I don't think so. I think Cassidy decided to go on the Moon Pearl and go straight into the Dark World first.
It's a little unusual, but I can see the logic there. Go to the Crystal Dungeon.
Yeah, and Cassidy can full clear Thieves Town courtesy of the hammer, so it makes sense to do this now, but it is 4 items. On the subject of 4 items, one of them being the big one, that is the Bamos medallion.
Hookshot Cave also empty.
There's a second item, 2 back to back. We get the shovel in Thieves Town. Yeah, sounds like the play was to take the Moon Pearl and go to Thieves Town first rather than go to Dark Death Mountain. Because yes, chat's pointing out, there was literally nothing in Dark Death Mountain or East Death Mountain. Except the mushroom. There are 2 items in the back of Thieves Town.
No one's opted to do Spike Cave yet, though.
That's true. Spike Cave is in logic with Cane of Burna and Half Magic.
Well, the hammer.
And Hammer.
The hammer being out of logic.
Oh, and I'm being corrected in chat. The mushroom was in Meyer Shed. So yeah, East Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, total busts.
Unfortunately, Illus's routing is the only one that gave us a good chance of seeing Spike Cave, and he's also the only one who has not got that hammer yet.
Yeah, just really unfortunate. Just a Boy gonna give us our look at Hyde Cave as we take a look at the Thieves Town hint that says some cash requires the hammer. Thanks, game. Hyde Cave, we start with a hard container. There's our flippers.
Hey, we're
and
back in
another
logic.
sword. Flippers and a sword, that is pretty hype. I'm gonna say, considering how many things the flippers dropped, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10.
But only 2 of the chests had something good. But there's
True,
5
but
chests. How could the score be anything higher than 2 out of 5?
Well, I add at least another chest simply because the flippers do give us the hammer, which gives us that big chest of Thieves Town and 5 million other things. So,
I guess.
yeah, weighted score.
I think it should lose points because now you can do Swamp Palace.
Oh, yeah, we could.
Yeah, both Swamp and Ice are now full clearable in logic.
Oh boy, now that's another good question. After you check Thieves Town and Skull Woods, where do you go next?
Well, he's just a boy who's decided Swamp is the play.
And whoa, Bucko Illis, no empty bottles. You gotta empty that B first. Oh, there's the bow in Thieves Town. Also, the item in the small keys locked in the big chest. But more importantly, we got the bow. So now we can clear Pod and Eastern, and we are a cane from no mode. Unfortunately, that cane can pretty much be anywhere. Except on Vidi or inside Turtle Rock.
I gotta think it's gonna be in one of these flipper dungeons.
Meanwhile, Cassidy very swiftly deals with Blind and takes his first red crystal. Yeah, so Kane cannot be on the pedestal since Meyer is a pendant. And it can't be in Total Rock since you need Kane to get past the front door. So
Right,
yeah, it comes
like,
down to
Ped's
where is
dead.
Kane?
Ped's dead, Aga's dead, we get to go mode TR. What kind of daily race is this?
Yeah, and for 35 minutes in or so, this is pretty fast. It more so it exploded right after we got to the Dark World. Well, more so after we checked West Dark World, specifically. West and South. Just a Boy, meanwhile, continuing our look through Swamp Palace, and I believe with the map there is an item on left side Swamp, and I believe we've seen the compass. Cassidy, meanwhile, gonna dig up some stuff for us. And there's a lot of money. It is taking a lot of digs for the cape. So now Bumper Ledge is in logic.
which we have not seen. Everybody opted to go straight south to Thieves Town.
Although, Cassidy may... Oh, looks like he's going to do hammer pegs in the smith chain first. The sunken chest and swamp giving us just a pair of rupee drops.
Illa's having rupee problems again, having to do the archery game to be able to afford to do the big game.
But yeah, definitely one of the faster seeds I've seen in a long time. Assuming, of course, it doesn't take us an eternity to find that cane.
Yeah, there's still lots of really horrible locations for the cane. Like, probably of what we have left, Mire might be the worst.
Yeah, inside Misery Mire is not a good place. Could be in Pot or Eastern. Oh no, it can't be in Eastern. We found all the Eastern items. It could be on the Green Pendant.
Yeah, Green Pendant would also be pretty bad. I don't think Pod wouldn't be that bad, though, because everybody's going to do Thieves Town and get that bow.
Yeah, Pod's not too bad. Pod is full clearable, and it could be... We're still missing a book, and it could be on a tablet. Cassidy's going to get their disappointment with the magic powder, only going to get some extra bombs. Meanwhile, just a boy going ahead and going straight for the Argus fight. To answer question, chat, the flippers were in Hype Cave, along with a sword. So yeah, Hype Cave's been, in my experience, it's been living up to its name lately. Meanwhile, just a boy going ahead and taking down Argus with Fire Rod and getting another set of rupees, but I do believe there are, I think we just have items left as far as what else is in Swamp Palace. There should be an item in the big chest. We've seen the map and compass, so there should be 2 items on left side. Illis is, for whatever reason, Illis did not get the purple chest hint. Oh boy. That's going to be a waste, unfortunately. Well, not necessarily. Illis is a little short on cash, especially to open a pod.
Yeah, the big problem here is that Illis, without the hammer, decided not to do Thieves Town, means no bow. But this will take him over to Hype Cave where he gets his flippers, and hopefully he'll do the flipper check soon after to get that hammer.
Looks like Cassidy is following just a boy into Swamp Palace.
The game was on Stumpy. What?
Wait, it was? Oh,
yeah, I'm very confused. Why did Cassidy not do that?
I'm checking the playback feed right now to confirm.
I'm very... Cassidy didn't do Stumpy in K45?
That is a good question, but yep, we are in no mode, ladies and gentlemen, at 43 minutes. But there is always money in the banana stand, unfortunately. If Phyllis needs that, he can just go to the banana stand.
Yeah, I guess what happened was Cassidy, knowing the purple chest was nothing, just mirrored and fluted over to the portal south of Lane's house to go straight into Hype Cave.
Yeah, that's a big deal, because A, we're in no mode, and B, depending on who else decides to go get that, well, Bravis also picked that up, so...
Now, he'll very likely do the those 2 checks following Swamp Palace, but with 2 items on the left side, like, you gotta think he's gonna stay and full clear the whole thing, where everybody else, well, Ravis, I guess, specifically.
Indeed, although Illis...
Go mode it.
Indeed, although Illis is skipping out on Hype Cave, looks like he's gonna follow the Cape first and check Bumper Ledge, which has a bottle of red goo, which he likes to skip.
Yeah, without that hammer, Illis is in a very unfortunate position.
And Illis is also going to check Graveyard Ledge. This is also not going to yield anything good. I believe all of our runners, to answer a question, Chad, I believe all of our runners have the Ice Rod hint. But yeah, after picking up the flippers, Ravis is already in go mode. Effectively.
Yeah, and finding that go mode before Swamp Palace is going to be pretty huge. This is a very fast dungeon if you don't have to check anything.
Absolutely. You can go mode Swamp, you can go mode Ice, you can go mode Pod, assuming you find the big key relatively soon, and you can go mode TR, again, assuming that you can find the big key relatively soon.
He's just avoid getting his cane and headed towards Thieves' Town where he'll find his own go mode.
Oh boy, Illis is taking his cane and going into Misery Mire. And we all know this ain't gonna work.
Yeah, really unfortunately, this makes a lot of sense from Illis's point of view.
It does. You have cane, you have boots, you can full clear this dungeon easily. He might get bailed out by the cutscene chest hint if he elects to check that, but we'll see if the cutscene chest hint is any good.
Pendant Mire is notorious for having progression if you get access to it early enough.
Indeed, and we've had access to the interior of Mire pretty early.
So as I was saying before the race, Cassidy does have a propensity for playing a little more gambly than you see most people play. 2 items on left side though, that's really hard to skip. But I feel like that's the only way he maintains a lead.
Yeah, and on top of that, it still has to go to Stumpy. Ravis, meanwhile, is on their Argus fight. And let's see what Cassidy decides to do. Will he go back to do left side, or will he nope out and go straight to, looks like he's noping out.
Noping out! Don't go to Pod. He's going to Pod. Oh, Cassidy!
Yeah, pulling out the hammer, is gonna check the pyramid ledge, maybe catfish. That's just very unfortunate right now.
It's really surprising routing, because there's literally no reason for him to ever come back to Gate 45 and Stumpy. I guess maybe like the book to do Bobo's tablet, he would come back. But that's 2 very early Darkhold checks that he is just deciding are gonna be put off for a very long time.
Yeah, and ultimately that's gonna cost him big time. Ravis, meanwhile, is gonna go ahead and just go mode Ice Palace, and the only thing that some of our runners might look for after they get go mode is Silver Arrows, but then again, Tempered Sword Silverless is still a lot better than Master Sword Silverless.
It's like 30 seconds. The difference between silvers and no silvers with Tempered Sword.
Yeah, so I imagine that maybe someone will keep their eyes peeled for it, but at the same time, I can't imagine it's a priority on anybody's list by now.
They might check chests that are like directly on the way, but
yes,
nothing else.
Along those lines. Cassidy, meanwhile, is going to full clear Pod looking for that cane. Illis, in the meanwhile, is going to Mire, or is going through all the way up to Vitreous.
Yeah, he needs this play to pay off. Unfortunately, it's just not going to.
There is, besides maybe silver arrows, there is pretty much nothing in here that can be of use to Illis at this point. Or maybe another sword. To answer question in chat, Ravis does know, Ravis did check the hint in Eastern that said where the ice rod is, so they know they're in go mode.
And it looks like the big key in Palace of Darkness is available early, which means that Ravis is going to get to skip the majority of this that Cassidy's going to full clear.
Illis is opting to do spam sword slashes with the cape, because slashing the sword by itself does reduce the drain from the magic cape, and ends up taking down Vitreous without taking out the last eyeball.
I killed the last one right at the end there. It walked into his sword swipes.
Very nice. Unfortunately, just got a heart piece and a pendant for that. Answer question in chat. The cape is not required for go mode. There's nothing. The only thing the cape locks out is Ago 1, which we don't need to do, and Bumper Ledge. We already have the Cane of Burna for Spike Cave and the Hammer, so.
Illis is going to do Green Pendant now. So the thought process here is Illis banked so hard on this Meyer play. He knows he is super behind now after getting nothing there. So, gotta make more gambles to make up for your gambles, right?
I guess. It'll be interesting to see what's on the Green Pendant nonetheless. Ravis, meanwhile, very quickly takes down Cold Stare and gets the Bolt coin for his trouble. Just a Boy now finally picking up their bow, and that's actually going to put Just a Boy in go mode. Alright, you gotta figure Ravis' next stop is Pod Eastern. Illis, meanwhile, using Fire Rod strats to take down Len Molas, will get rewarded with their Green Pendant. It just outright stuns me that besides really the boots in Tower of Hera, there was absolutely almost nothing of value on Death Mountain. Dark and all around the rest of Death Mountain.
I think Illis is going to pull the pedestal. I mean, you might as well, right?
Makes a lot of sense. You can clear Skull Woods, you have the Fire Rod, you have the Mirror, it's right along the way. That makes a lot of sense. Looks like also all of our runners except Illis are currently running on Tempered Sword now. So I'm trying to remember where our swords were. The first was in... Oh, there was one in High Cave. The second was in...
Chess Game.
Say that again?
Chess Game.
Chess Game, that's the one. And the first one was way earlier. It was in Mini Moblum Cave. Yeah, now I'm up to date on the swords.
Yeah, when Illis found the cape, he noped out on finishing the south route and did not go to Hype Cave. That's why he's also missing the flippers, which lead to his hammer.
Yeah, and hasn't finished the Village of Outcast checks either, so I think he's still on Fighter Sword.
No, he has Master. It's just
as a Master?
It's not marked on the tracker.
Okay. I couldn't tell the sword too well. Yeah, that is Master. Yeah, luckily it is a, can you call that a God Pod?
It's pretty good.
Answer question to chat, Kane was on Stumpy.
Yes, Meyer was empty. So what had happened was Cassidy got the Smith sequence done, except that we had a hint for purple chest. So after turning in the Smith, Cassidy mirrored and then fluted over to south of Link's house to do Hyde Cave, skipping out on Cave 45 and then Stumpy, who had the Canis Maria, which would be his go mode. And then following Swamp, he just went straight over to Pod. And then Illis fell behind because everybody else water walked their way to Zora and got the hammer and Waterfall Fairy. And then Illis's problems compounded from there.
Yeah, Ellis has not yet been to Hype Cave, which has the flippers to put the hammer in logic.
And He's Just a Boy is a bit behind Ravis, but not by a terrible amount. But that all stemmed from him full clearing Swamp Palace and then headed to Thieves Town, where Ravis did Thieves Town, got Go Mode, and Go Mode at Swamp Palace. So it's just like a left side swamp clear between them. Oh yeah, and Ice Palace.
Yeah, Cassidy still has quite a lot of catching up to do, but or I should say, just the boy has a lot of catching up to do, but at the very least is still in go mode with Tempered Sword. Meanwhile, Ravis, our second runner of the afternoon to wipe out Helmasaur King, and that brings their crystal count to 5. Oh, and Mothula had the silver arrows. Oh boy. Well, at the very least, Illis is going to have silver arrows for the Ganon fight, but...
And we're getting our pet pull. For the chat!
Alright, let's see. It's just a ton of money.
I'm sure Illis is glad to see that. He's run out of rupees twice already this season. Never again.
The most richest pet pull.
So following Eastern Palace, I gotta imagine that Cassidy's next play is just going to be to full clear ice, which unfortunately is not going to pay off for him.
It makes a lot of sense.
I happen to know that he doesn't like Ice Palace, so maybe he doesn't do that.
Indeed. At the same time, Ice Palace has 3 items and 3 hints. Well, 3 potential hints at least.
I like Ice Palace. Who doesn't like Ice Palace? It's the best!
Illis, meanwhile, is diving into Thieves Town and is going to be getting the bow. Luckily, doesn't need to worry about not having hammer because the small key was locked itself. But still, not the best. Not where Illis needs to go right now, unfortunately. And you got to imagine that after picking up the bow, that's going to drag him towards Eastern and Pod and even further away from High Cave. Ravis, meanwhile, giving us our second look at the Armos Knights. Having a little bit more trouble than Cassidy did, but nevertheless takes them down, gets a compass, and that is their 6th crystal. Now it is just a Turtle Rock away from taking the fight to the Big Pig.
He's pretty low on arrows, which may be significant through Gainus Tower, but there's a 5 arrow pot in TR that, if he remembers, should give him a more healthy count.
Yeah,
Cassidy's not doing Ice Palace. Instead, gonna full clear the mountain now.
Yeah, unfortunately, as we know, there is absolutely nothing up here.
I don't understand you, Cassidy.
That is definitely something I might consider asking him in the interview.
Well, because, like, he nopes out on those overworld checks to go do Swamp, Pod, and Eastern. And now he doesn't continue doing those crystal dungeons. It goes up the mountain instead. Do you just hate Ice Palace that much, Cassidy?
Yeah, as chat suggests it's possibly could have just completely forgot about those overworld checks. Although you mentioned that Cassidy is a gambler, and this might just be one of those gambles that ultimately just did not pay off today.
Yeah, I think his what he was planning to do was probably check Hype Cave and then go west to check Cave 45 and that other place. Something. But finding the flippers there kind of led him astray into Swamp Palace. It is possible he just forgot to do them afterwards.
Yeah, Ravis is going to go ahead and, I guess you can say Go Mode Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock's not exactly a dungeon that has a lot of time saved from Go Mode.
Yeah, especially considering he has to go out onto the bridge to check Ice Rod Cave. Or Mimic Cave.
That's right.
Might as well call it Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, the Mimic of Ice Rod Caves. And it's a bummer because it looked like Cassidy had a bit of a leg up early after picking up the Titan's Mitts in Eastern Palace, because everybody else kind of put that off for a while and elected to do Eastern last.
Yeah, if Cassidy had just gone south from the Smith sequence, he would probably be opening Gannon right now. It's very, very unfortunate, but that's the way Rando goes sometimes.
So say the randos.
Gomo's always in the last place you look, right?
The famous last location. Yeah, there's the Book of Medora in Turtle Rock, although unfortunately that pretty much has no value at this point.
That's actually a really bad thing for Cassidy, because the book was like the best chance that Cassidy had for making his way back over to those checks. And with the book being locked behind the cane, that's not going to happen now.
No, that book pretty much has no value at this point. Illis, meanwhile, continuing their Oops All Dungeons trek.
He didn't go to Hype Cave. Oh no.
No, still has not gone to Hype Cave. Is now going to...
Yeah, he's gonna turn jump here. So from Illis's point of view, the East Darkworld is in logic through Aga.
Cassidy, meanwhile, is going to Mire. He thinks the cane's in Mire.
Yeah, he may end up pulling Pedestal before this is over as well.
Ravis is kind of pretty close going through Turtle Rock. Very luckily, we picked up red mail earlier from the Waterfall Ferry. And this has not been a particularly healthy sea for Ravis, because he's still only at 10 hearts. Even with red mail, that's still kind of close for the Ganon fight.
Oh yeah, Cassidy can't pull Ped, that's right. No cane.
Oh yeah. Yes, and now at 103.48, Ravis has finally picked up the last item he needs to enter Go Mode. Just a Boy, meanwhile, has finished off Cold Stare.
Yeah, he'll hit it up to Turtle Rock next, putting him about a dungeon behind Ravis. poor Illus continuing on to Palace of Darkness, so he'll end up having to double dip this.
Yeah, luckily I don't think any of the only dungeon that was a required double dip, you can argue, would be Eastern, because if the bow was in Thieves Town, the only way into the Dark World was with Titansmith's Moon Pearl, because Flippers were in Hype Cave. So yeah, logically, Eastern was the only required double dip of this seed. Gravis needs to still go to Laser Bridge and find that last small key. Luckily, Cane of Burna makes this easy. Oh, is it going to be all the way down at the last chest? Yep. So yeah, the only pendant dip, as chat points out, you did have to dip Pendant Desert in order to get the Moon Pearl. Other than that, yeah, pendant dips weren't too crazy. All in all, not the one of the less trolly seeds we've had in a while. Still had its fair share, but not a whole lot.
Oh, this is essentially a jet seed.
Pretty much, actually.
Like, the Light World access was a little bit trolly, like, what you had to do to get that. But it's Light World access. Like, there's only so many checks. Eventually, you're going to find Light World access, no matter how trolly it is. And then once we did get to the Dark World, as long as you went to Crystal Dungeons and opened chests on the way, Cassidy, you would just find Go Mode.
Yeah, I mean, it just still baffles me how there was absolutely nothing on Death Mountain, considering how many items are up there normally. But Ravis has, meanwhile, completely taken down Trinex, and it is now time for the Big Key guessing game. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower where there could be a Big Key. Get your guesses between 1 and 22, and maybe you will guess correctly where the Big Key is located.
Okay, it looked like Cassidy thought about killing Lambo and then changed his mind. Oh, are we getting Cave 45?
Might be.
Okay, Cassidy is going to find his Go Mode shortly and realize what he did wrong.
Yep, meanwhile, Ravis choosing to go left to start things off.
At least he gets to Go Mode Ice, right?
And we get a unique item on the torch, but it's just a single arrow.
How do you not grab that? You need that.
Yeah, that's the best unique item. Alright, Cassidy is about to get the very bad, well, depending on how he's looking at it right now, the very bad or very good news that he is now in Go Mode. No sign of that big key just yet out of the chests 2 through 5.
So Cassidy's pretty well aware that he's very behind at this point. But he did get to skip out on a lot of the other trolls that could have happened to him, such as Landmo and Skullwoods. Full clearing Ice Palace.
Indeed. Nothing in chest number 6. Ravis is gonna go full left, it looks like. Chest number 7, just some bombs.
But nobody goes full left.
And elects to immediately burn a couple of those.
I think this is a random room rush. He's gonna mirror after random room.
Now, why did Ravis just burn half his bombs? Was that just frustration, or?
Well, he doesn't have use for him anymore.
That makes sense. Chess 8, 9, and 10, no sign of the big key. Nothing from 8 to 11.
Yeah. So not full left today, because nobody does full left, you guys.
Meanwhile, in the Hope Room, we have a small key for 12 and just a single rupee for 13. Ooh, nice cane punt there from Ravis. I've had a seed where somebody checked when I think left first and the big key ended up being in Hope Room.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad for that to happen, but it's not really that much different than, say, like Pink Magician, where the big key is in random room, right?
Right.
So it's like it's not the best route I could have chosen, but it wasn't that bad.
14 and 15, just a hard piece in a map. 16, a big 20. 17, a big 20. We're running out of spots.
Yeah, just Ice Armos and Tile Room, yeah.
Although my count is off. Oh no, never mind, we're good. Yeah, that was 7. Yeah, we haven't seen Bob's chest, that's right. Yeah, I forgot Bob's chest too. Not gonna lie. So yeah, this check coming up is gonna be 17. Braves' arrow count is definitely doing a lot better than earlier as well. And we get to meet Bob, pick up some more arrows while we're at it. And Bob's chest is just a hard piece, which Ravis is not going to say no to, given that that's another heart container. Now we're going to get our look at Armos on ice.
Illis finally made his way to the flipper checks. He'll do Hobo first, but then we'll eventually find his hammer. Oh, Ravis!
Having a little bit of trouble there, but manages to take down the Hope.
One arrow short. One arrow short of that quick kill.
Oh, Illis didn't actually get the flippers. He's using fake flippers, but that was chest number 20 that had the big key. So the winner of the big key guessing game is... Take a quick look back through chat. The winner is... Looks like it is Keeg Dog with a guess of 20. Congratulations, Keeg Dog. You are the big key guessing game winner. You get some appreciation from us here at Speed Gaming and a lifetime supply of Link to the Past randomizer seeds. Disclaimer, these are available for everybody. Oh! Illis just took a death in the fake flipper.
Before the hammer?
Right at the cave waterfall fairy. Oh boy, Illis is just not having a good day. Answer question, chat. The big key was chest number 20. It was in ice, behind Ice Armos. Illis may be lost. He just talked to the bottle vendor.
Yeah, just a quick check to make sure. Looks like he's gonna head down to Hype Cave though.
Yeah, meanwhile, Just a Boy going ahead and starting their trek through GT. Likes to do Tile Room first. Unfortunately, I've seen this a couple of times, and I've seen it pay off a couple times, but unfortunately, it will not pay off this time.
It's not like crazy, you know, because like Tower Room has just as much of a chance of having the big key as any other place in GT. But I gotta question it with how good his route through the game was. He got to avoid nearly all the trolls in this seed, so to do Tower Room when you're likely in a good spot to win seems wrong.
Yeah, Illis, meanwhile, finally gets their flippers out of Hype Cave along with their Tempered Sword. And he's got to be thinking, oh, why did I fake Flipper? But yeah, Just a Boy, the only extra time he ended up sinking is that he ended up full clearing Swamp Palace. Illis is going to last location Waterfall Fairy at this rate, because now he's going into Swamp.
So this is good for He's Just a Boy, doing the full Dark Magician routing, rather than the Pink Magician routing. So he'll be able to skip out on doing Random Room.
Meanwhile, with just a slash and a spin, Troll Door on 2, not a problem for Ravis. And Just a Boy decides to powder Bob.
Murderer!
Oh, and Illis has now left Swamp Palace.
Yeah, he doesn't have the hammer to continue past that first chest.
Yeah, he was hoping the hammer might be in that first chest.
Don't go into Ice, Illis, please.
It's pulling out the mirror, but it's... Oh, this is
Okay,
gonna be
good.
interesting.
He's going to Waterfall Fairy. He's Just a Boy, a little low on arrows, so he's trying to finish this fight without using them. He needs even more arrows than what he has, though.
Meanwhile, blink and you miss it. Ravis has already taken down Aga 2, and it is time to fight the big pig.
Alright, Illis does eventually find his hammer and has entered go mode with everybody else. Alright, we gotta pay real close attention to He's Just a Boy's arrows here. He has enough to kill these first two mimics, but he'll have to grab the arrows from the pot in the next room to finish them off. Nice hit him. Oh, Ravis missing the torch glitch. He has plenty of magic to do this fight still, but it's going to be a bit slower.
Yeah, it's got to rely on sword spins, but yeah, half magic will keep them in the running for quite some time.
He has a blue potion as well. But without the torch clutch, it makes it really difficult to get triples. Oh, almost got walked into Ganon by there.
Yeah, that secret technique of darkness proving to be very little trouble for Ravis. Starting to get low on magic. I think he only has one more shot with the fire rod.
There we go. Nice triple on that one. Oh, wasn't close enough.
Yep, has to burn that blue goo, but that should render him safe.
He's doing his best to get these triples, but not knowing exactly where Ganon's going to land makes it incredibly challenging.
But there he goes. And with that, Ravis will cross the bridge in first place among our restream runners, but amongst the community today, he will finish in 4th place with an official SRL time of 1:20.50. First place winner was Yoshi with a time of 1:18.23, Wolfie Dragon 1990, 1:19.06 for second place, and Goomba 90 in third place with a time of 1:20.48. Ravis got sniped out of bronze by 2 seconds. Get your GGs in chat, ladies and gentlemen. That was a fantastic quick seed today. Meanwhile, Just a Boy finishing off Moldorm 2, gonna be a few minutes before they get to their Ganon fight.
So I'll go ahead.
Just to answer your question in chat, Ravis's overall placement was 4th place in this seed today. The winner was gotta take another quick look.
Yoshi.
The winner was Yoshi. Yoshi. Just a Boy giving us a little bit of hookshot ensemble there. But yeah, just to I guess while we're wrapping up Just a Boy's run, just to kind of recap for anybody who might just have been coming in over the last couple of minutes. So what happened in this seed? So early on, it started. We were running out of checks for initial Dark World access, but we ended up finding the Titan's Mitts in Eastern Palace, and the Moon Pearl was in the back of Desert Palace. And to get to Desert Palace, you had to buy the flute from Zora, and the mirror was someplace free.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, that one's slipping my mind. But after getting to Dark World, you basically had to completely ignore Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain. You had to go to Stumpy to get Cane of Samaria. You had to go to Hype Cave to get Flippers. You had to then go to Waterfall Ferry to get Hammer. And then you had to go through... And somewhere along that line, you had to go get the bow in Thieves Town. And luckily, Ice Rod was free because we learned in Eastern Palace that it was in Mimic Cave. So yeah, that's pretty much where we stand as far as what the seed was expecting. Meanwhile, we've got Just a Boy going through their silverless Ganon fight. And yeah, the only runner who ended up not sequence breaking Waterfall Cave to get the hammer was Illis, and Illis tried to fake flipper at one point, and that ended up not going so well. Then they got the flippers and then went back for the hammer. Just a Boy continuing the fight, although running low on magic.
We welcome Rapist to the voice chat. GG. So I gotta ask Ramus.
Yes.
Why'd you do the mountain, man? It was easy first place. We just skipped the mountain.
Yeah, that is true, I guess.
Feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens, right? Yeah, it was a free seed. I mean, the only two things I kind of regretted were not going into desert after finding the hookshot. Although I guess I wouldn't do that all the time, because in that, situation, so many items after Death Mountain.
Pretty minor time loss in the end, though. If you ended up doing the mountain completely anyway.
Yeah, probably maybe even a major time loss, but well, whatever. And not going full left in GT. I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, if it's right side, dang, there are people like when enough people will. I might gamble it's behind, and then I was like, okay, cool, whatever, just mirror on that. And yeah, that's unfortunate. But
Like to
pre-seed.
Pretty much. I would like to interject for just a second to point out that He's Just a Boy has finished overall in 9th place with an SRL time of 1:26.42.
What happened to Illis?
Illis did not sequence break the hammer.
So he didn't
also-
set up Water Walk or what?
Nope. He went to Zora from Potion Shop.
Oof.
So when he got to the Dark World, he skips out on Thieves Town because he doesn't have the hammer, and then finds the cape in the Smith sequence and goes north and does Bumper Cave and Graveyard Ledge. And then when that was nothing, he said, "Okay, let's go Mire." And then he said, "Okay, let's do Glambo." And then he said, "Okay, let's do Skull Woods." And then he said, "Okay, let's do Pedestal."
Oh my, he had full pedestal access.
It took him a very long time to get to High Cave, to get the flippers, to get the hammer, to get to Thieves Town.
It was pretty much almost last location.
Yeah, he ended up double dipping Pod, checking first chest Swamp, full clearing all 3 pendants. He did get to go mode Swamp and Ice essentially though, but it wasn't enough to make up for everything else.
Yeah.
And we are joined actually by It's Just a Boy in voice chat. Good game to you, sir.
Thank you, GG.
So you had a fantastic route through this seat as well. He's Just a Boy. The only thing that really could have gone better for you would be to skip the mountain, which nobody did, or to start at Thieves Town instead of Hype Cave.
Yeah, then I wouldn't have full cleared Swamp Palace as well. I definitely like the going up the mountain though, getting at least the knowledge on Turtle Rock, so I knew what I needed to get in
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah, it made total sense to go up the mountain. There would it would be very difficult to skip it in this particular seed.
But it was a nice seed otherwise. A lot of protection, red mail nice and early.
Yeah, we were in no mode at like 40 some odd minutes in. As soon as we discovered the cane was on Stumpy.
The
I mean,
bow
it took
had
us 30 minutes for Darkwood access, right?
Yeah, like the Darkwold access was like really, really trolly, but it was going to be trolly for everybody, so it wasn't really like a huge difference maker.
Cassidy, what are you doing?
He is trying to do the Moldworm bounce, although I'm not sure if he's got it. He looks a little too far left. He needs Moldworm to stay still.
This is gonna be interesting.
There's no
I've
way
never seen this.
he's gonna miss it. Moldworm's going in the wrong direction.
Nope, not quite. But a spin slash and that sorts out that problem.
I've seen him do it before. It's pretty amazing.
That is a trick I have not yet seen. Oh, I just realized there were arrows in the Moldorm 2 chest. How convenient.
If you have silvers, of course.
So you were really considering going full right? Because nobody goes full right except for me.
It made more sense to go full right at that point, because, you know, it's faster to go there when you're already at the 4 chests instead of mirroring and, you know...
Oh, you mean after random room?
Yeah, exactly. But I was considering full left.
Oh, full left.
Yeah, because
Oh!
I was thinking like the Desert Palace blade might have caught me enough time to lose, and when I was at, I think, the start of Ganon, by the way, horrible Ganon phase 4, oh my god. I deserve that snipe from Boomer, by the way. I absolutely deserve that. When you don't get the torch glitch, you have to be punished.
Yep, I feel your pain on that one.
You got one of the triples, though.
Yeah. But, well, it's a free seat kind of, unless you're 1 out of 10 people probably. Hello, Illos, at this point. Yeah, I can see why he went there, but I wonder what he still had left. Was it like Mushroom and Zora only?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. He was just spreading those together.
Cassidy actually got slowed down by delaying Stumpy.
Oh yeah, Cassidy would have
And
won
then
this
the,
race if he just
that-
went
The
this
south.
way.
That
Southeast-
would have happened to me
southwest.
almost as well. That would have almost happened to me as well.
Yeah, Cassidy turns into Smith and does Magic Bat, and then mirrors and goes to Hype Cave and skips out on Stumpy in Cave 45, and then just starts full clearing Crystal Dungeons, not getting that cane. But
So
like,
Cass was a little bit earlier than me in the Dark World, I guess.
oh yeah, he skipped out on the mountain completely.
Yeah, Cassidy was actually the first one to give us the Titans mitts.
Well, it's more interesting to who's got Dark World first. What I mean, mids early were cool, alright, fair, but you needed to get the Zora and having the mids. Also early, or boots kind of. This was a seed where you want to have boots early, because of water walk and stuff.
Everybody ended up getting to Zora about the same time.
Yeah, boots were hard required since it was the small key on the torch.
Yeah. Well, you could have gone to the back of desert and take the small key and
Oh
go
yeah,
to the
stealing the
front.
key.
Yeah, the other way around, like, as we know. But they would have told you you're missing the boots somewhere and it's not in the Dark World.
Alright, meanwhile, Cassidy is on their silverless scan in phase 4. Did get the torch glitch. Illis, meanwhile, is just now finishing their Oops All Dungeon seed going through Turtle Rock. I say oops all dungeons, but he really didn't. The only one thing he didn't do was Aggle 1. And there goes Ganon for Cassidy. And Cassidy is going to cross the finish line. Just confirming now. Cassidy is in 17th place with an SRL time of 1:34.51.
It's gotta hurt. Akima's team is one overworld check from being first place, really.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder what would have happened, what the time would have been had Stumpy been checked early.
It really just goes to show like how amazing the seed was for most people, right? Like a 134 was 17th place.
Well, yeah, I mean, when nobody wants to go to Zora without Moon Pearl. I was considering that play earlier, and I would have regretted it. So everybody at some point goes to Hera, and it's kind of natural, I guess, to most runners to set up Waterwalk and just, you know, check your waterfall cave, see what's there, and then you see the hammer, and I was like, okay, I guess that was not too bad, but I guess a lot of people would have done that. You want to be efficient, right?
When I grabbed those with my water walk, I was like, this is nice, but it's not that nice because I felt like a lot of people are going to be in the same situation.
Yep, exactly.
We actually have our second place winner, Wolfie Dragon, in chat saying he got a new PB with this seed. So GG's to Wolfie Dragon for that.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Illis is now finally making their way through to Ganon's tower.
Alright guys, thanks for having me. My voice is still not perfectly fine, so I'm gonna make some tea. And thank you for having me. GG to you, he's just a boy.
GG.
GG. Congratulations on your win in the
Yeah,
restream.
Thank you chat, thank you trackers, thank you Fear for restreaming, and thank you both of you of course for making this possible.
GG.
Alright, Illis is gonna go right, which is the direction he needs to go to get to Ice Armos.
Yeah, this is the fastest way to get to Ice Armos, is to go full right here. Unfortunately, nobody goes full right. He's very likely going to be mirroring after Compass Room and getting to Ice Armos last.
In GT, I checked the tower room solely because I was metagaming. I was like, no one's finished yet. I got 4 keys. That means there's most likely an item in tile room chest. And I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, I was thinking like so from your point of view, like you had a really great route through the sea. Like Volclaring Swamp didn't feel that great or anything, but you got to skip out on pretty much everything else. So I thought it was a little weird to do tower room from that position. But yeah, if like Big Key was there, you might have actually taken the race.
Yeah, it would have been nice. Well, I mean, in some cases, I guess it's because where the big key was so late, anyways. But yeah, it would have saved me. It would have saved me a good probably 10 minutes. No, not that much. Like 7, but still.
Yeah, I think 7's about right. Like full clearing the basement.
My GT was so bad. Almost ran out of arrows. I had to stop myself.
I was a little worried for you because sometimes, like, if a BMOS fires at the same time you pick up that pot, those arrows despawn.
But yeah, it all worked out. This is my my first race back. I just got married and came back from my honeymoon. So
Congratulations.
yeah, she's actually in this race as well. So I'm curious to see where she's at. I haven't checked yet.
Does she have a sister? Who also plays A Link to the Past.
But yeah, I'd like to extend the same thank yous to both you guys for commentating, the streamer and the tracker.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, I'm gonna step out. I imagine Cassidy and Moen will probably be jumping in here, so
No,
Cassidy will actually not be joining us in the booth today.
unfortunate. But you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'm gonna step out.
we'll see ya.
See ya, and GG.
Thank you.
Yeah, meanwhile, Illis is gonna put off Ice Armos for a bit, go to Rando Room.
You know, I've probably commentated Cassidy racing maybe like 5 times now. He's never done an interview. I'm starting to think it's me. I think it's me he's avoiding.
Nah.
Because I know he's done interviews before, but he always says no when I'm doing the commentary. Oh, is that why? Because it's how I always commentate at the afternoon races. That makes a lot of sense.
Alright, Illis finally taking down the Ice Armos, finally gonna get their big key. Only difference between all the other runners is that Illis has silver arrows this time. That is the lone advantage Illis took from full clearing all the other dungeons, is that the silver arrows were on Mothula.
Oh, Cassidy's saying that he's never done an interview. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I've seen you do interviews before.
Alright, so Illis now making the climb up GT.
This whole seat is like a really bad dream for Illis. He's such a strong runner. He's one of the best. And to for what happened this seat to happen to him, I just gotta feel really bad.
Yeah, I mean, last location in Hype Cave, having to, or trying to fake flipper for the hammer and ending up taking a death right before getting the flippers, no less. Just a series of unfortunate events.
Well, if you're down to comment on it, Cassidy, we're all really wondering what prompted you to make that decision to skip out on Cave 45 and Stumpy and go straight to Hype Cave. Yeah, Illis ended up, he didn't sequence break to the hammer. So when he went to the Dark World for the first time, he was hammerless and skipped out on Thieves Town and then went north. And Kern jumped over to Pod, and he did basically everything he could that wasn't going to Hype Cave. And then even before Hype Cave, he tried to fake flipper to Waterfall Ferry, and like Captain just said, got hit by Azor right before walking in. Okay, so you were just going over to Pod. What's the plan?
Yeah, the purple chest hint led you astray in that case.
You were gonna win, by the way, Cassidy. I know this can't make you feel good, but you were like the only person to get to skip the whole mountain. So except for that one thing, a really fantastic run.
You had a great, pretty good GT. Good Ganon fight. Alright, Illis taking fighting Moldorm 2. Please do not fall off the ledge, thank you. And yeah, Ellis is going to want those silver arrows. Granted, he's probably okay with 15, but you never know.
You're kidding, right? You said it so seriously, I'm not sure.
Oh.
Because he only needs 4.
Nah, I meant the you never know part, but he's probably fine.
It would be unprecedented to see somebody miss a silver arrow over 10 times.
Well, especially considering Illis just got 2 triples back-to-back on Aga 2.
The dream.
That was astounding. But yeah, we were talking about it all seed, Wolfie. The fact that Death Mountain just had absolutely nothing in besides the boots and Hera. Considering how many items are in the Death Mountain area in total, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, the thing though was when everybody went to the mountain, like, it was definitely the play. Like, of all the things that they had left to do, like, the mountain made the most sense. It was definitely the most item dense. You got the TR medallion information. Like, there was no reason not to go to the mountain.
Yeah, it's just a shame that it didn't pay off in any other way, besides extra info and the boots. Yeah, Illis, meanwhile, is just going to completely roll over Ganon with silver arrows and still using Tempered Sword Pegasus dashes.
Yeah, he misses his 1-1, but 2-1 is also pretty fast.
Again, and if you could stop teleporting around the room, that would be great. And Ganon asks, did we find the arrows in Skull Woods? Well, Illis did. Here, take a look.
Nice double-double.
Wasting absolutely no time on that Ganon fight.
GG.
GG indeed. Illis finishes in 25th with an SRL time of 1:47.35.
Hello, Illis. Welcome to the voice chat, GG.
GG.
Yeah, I know. So take us through it. What happened? What went wrong?
I wanted to give the others a handicap of about 30 minutes, because otherwise they wouldn't win against me. No, but seriously, I just forgot Hype Cave. Yeah, it's actually not the very first time this happens. I think it's the second time, and I'm confused how that can happen, but I'm glad I discovered it at some point.
So the play this seed, like the huge difference maker between what happened to you and what happened to everybody else, was sequence breaking to Waterfall Fairy on your way to Zora at the beginning of the game. Did you have any consideration for setting up the water walk, or were you just interested in turning in that mushroom and moving on?
I thought about it, but it was like, yeah, it's just Waterfall Fairy, right?
Yeah,
it's probably nothing.
Piece of heart and 20 rupees, right? It's always piece of heart and 20 rupees.
Yep.
And the piece of heart probably full heals you and is in the first chest, and you're ruined.
Yeah, I've seen that happen a few times.
But yeah, in any case, even if that kind of thing happens, I think the mark of a good runner is not to get tilted and finish the seed properly. And I think I did that. So I guess being dumb set me behind like way too far, but I wasn't unhappy with how I played this, like execution wise.
Oh yeah, that went like swimmingly, right?
Yeah,
Like,
your
no
Ganon
major
fight,
execution errors whatsoever.
yeah, especially Ganon and Aga too. We gotta hand it to you for getting triple, two triples. I'm just gonna go with that, and then
Yeah.
practically nailing Ganon in 2 cycles with the silvers.
Yeah, I could have one cycled to the first phase of Ganon, but I've never really practiced that, so I'm not sure. But otherwise, it was nearly perfect, and yeah, I'm really happy with that, at least.
I'm just impressed with the Agatu because I like what you were saying, like it's all about keeping your composure. And I could probably count on like one hand the number of people who can watch 20 people finish before them in IRC and still get the dream on Agatu.
Yeah, I think mental fortitude is something I can take pride in. So of course, I'm getting very depressed if I get somehow overtaken if I think I'm doing well. But I didn't, so I figured that I concentrate on finishing properly.
Yeah, I'm sure like from your point of view, like the second you killed Vitreous was probably when you knew things weren't going well anymore.
I was kind of suspicious of the pedestal because we had that cane, or basically pedestal was very early in logic.
Right.
So I figured if I don't find anything in Maya, I'm just gonna pull path because the other 2 dungeons are really quick. And I started to get very confused when there was nothing in port.
Right.
And then I realized that I probably skipped something. And
So
yeah,
you did just forget about Hyde Cave then.
yeah, I did. Absolutely, I admit it.
Yeah, we thought something was up when you checked the bottle vendor a second time.
Because you made it all the way down to Stumpy, and then I guess from there that's when you went north to do the current jump.
Mm, I went to Stumpy. I went to wait. I went to Stumpy really early, but yeah, I figured that it might be a logical Aga seed because we could do Aga for East Darkwood access.
Oh,
So
you did Stumpy
I did,
before Meyer. That's right. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, so I did just current jump and wanted to find my hammer or my flippers. Hammer would probably be somewhere in pod, and yeah, it just didn't turn out right simply because I forgot something. That kind of thing happens, right?
Okay. All right. So now I'm following what happened in your head here. So like you're full clearing Village of Outcasts. There's no hammer, and then you get this cane, and you've been thinking about Ped the whole time, and you say like, "Ooh, cane! I can pull Ped."
It was, that
And just
was
forgot to
kind
go
of it,
continue on the Hype
yes.
Cave.
um, as I said, it doesn't really happen usually that I forget a hype cave, but I don't know. This time it happened.
And of course, what the seed where you forget to skip Hype Cave is like the one seed where it's not completely worthless.
I think that hype cave is often something really good, and skipping it is absolutely not worth it. So everything's on me, right?
I feel
So
it's like when you don't have the hammer, that's when Hype Cave's suddenly good. But it's also when Hype Cave's like harder to get to.
yeah, definitely. Mostly because you just find the hammer in there most of the times when you have Mitzvah Awkward access.
Well, regardless, I'm confident that if had you done the water walk, that one small decision, then this would have been a easy like top 5 finish for you with your execution. It just just rando, right?
Yeah, probably. Like that hammer in Waterfall Fairy definitely wouldn't have helped me. Well, I'm not a big fan of Fake Flipper anyway. But I would have found it relatively soon, and yeah, top 5 would have been something. But you can't always do well in this, right? And you just gotta hone your skills, hone your logic skills, your decision making. So and sometimes your memorization, so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen again, and that you do well overall.
Do you think that the seed would change your decision making, like in a similar situation? Would you do a water walk next time?
Not really. As I said before, I'm not a big fan of the sequence break of the fake flipper. It could have just been that flippers are go mode and that the fake flipper is just a pure waste of time, right? And then it's suddenly a bad play to fake flipper because you're wasting 3 minutes of your life.
It's like Koi said, Rando's gonna rando.
Yep, that's how you gotta deal with it.
Well, I think we're about ready to wrap things up. What do you say, Captain?
I'm pretty much good to go. Yeah, I've said all my pieces.
Any final words, Ellis, before we wrap it up?
I wish that the Fairy Fountain sequence break wouldn't screw me up so often. But yeah, I want to thank you for sticking with me and commentating the rest of my run, even though I was dead last. And thanks to the trackers. And yeah, I'll do better next time. I promise.
Oh, I know it.
We'll certainly be looking forward to that.
Well, thank you very much, Ellis, for the interview, and thank you to all of our runners, He's Just a Boy, Cassidy, Moen, Ravis, and Ellis, of course, for being on the restream for us. Always a pleasure to commentate such accomplished runners. Even if the seed doesn't always go their way, they always put on a great show for us. And thank you to our trackers. I already forgot how to say the name. Do you remember, Captain?
Yeah, it is, it's in Discord somewhere.
Seiryu?
It's, yeah, Seiryu X and, Seiryu X and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, who have been pressing all the buttons behind the scene. So once again, thank you to those folks, and thanks to our wonderful tech crew who got everything working despite our bot hiccups early on.
I pinged literally every volunteer to make sure that they knew. They got it under control for us.
Yes, they did. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the conclusion of today's afternoon Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. If you would like to see some more speed gaming action this afternoon, we have in just a couple of moments on the main speed gaming channel, we have the Final Fantasy Total Chaos Tournament in progress. CR Rule versus Yoshi Kion. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We also have a Pokemon Red and Blue any percent glitchless tournament, Red specifically, any percent glitchless tournament at 4:30. That is right here on Speed Gaming 2. And we have more speed gaming action for you tonight, including our 9 o'clock daily race, which will be a standard seed. That will be on Speed Gaming 3. We have a Zelda 2 randomizer weekly race and a Final Fantasy randomizer weekly race on other speed gaming channels as well at 9 o'clock. So take your pick if you would like to see some more speed gaming action tonight. But with all that said, on behalf of our all the crew here at Speed Gaming, on behalf of our trackers, Seiryu X and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, my partner Koi, and myself, Captain MD, we wish you a great afternoon, and thank you all for watching.
Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.